Hi, I'm Amy. Today I'm going to tell you my story. But before I continue, please like, share, and subscribe to hear more stories like this. So, where do I begin? I guess with the fact that I've always been the responsible one in my family. My brother Jason? Not so much. From the time we were kids, my dad made it clear that Jason could do no wrong, while I was held to impossible standards. Mom passed away when I was 14, and after that, the dynamic only got worse. Dad became even more protective of Jason, while I basically had to fend for myself. I explained to my best friend Megan over coffee, 2 days after everything finally came to a head in court. "I still can't believe your own father would do that to you," Megan said, shaking her head. "Like, who steals their daughter's honeymoon fund?" "Not just the fund, the actual honeymoon," I corrected her. "But let me back up and tell you everything from the beginning. When I met Daniel 3 years ago, it felt like finally something in my life was going right. He was kind, thoughtful, and his family welcomed me with open arms, something I hadn't experienced from my own family in years. "Amy, you know I think the world of you," Daniel said when he proposed. "We're going to build the life we both deserve." I remember crying when he said that, not just because of the proposal, but because someone finally saw me as deserving of good things. "I've been saving for our honeymoon for over a year," I told Daniel one night as we planned our wedding. "My grandma left me some money before she died, and I've been putting it away specifically for us to go to Greece. It was always her dream destination, and she made me promise I'd go someday." "That's incredible, Amy. Are you sure you want to use that money for our honeymoon?" Daniel asked. "Absolutely. It's what she would have wanted." What I didn't know then was that my father had been monitoring my savings account. He still had access as a co-signer from when I was a teenager, and I'd never thought to remove him. The first hint of trouble came 3 months before our wedding. I went to make the final payment for our honeymoon package, only to discover the money was gone. "What do you mean the account is empty?" I asked the bank teller, my voice rising with panic. "The funds were withdrawn last week, Miss Collins," she explained. "By your father, Robert Collins. As a co-signer on the account, he has full access." I immediately called my dad. "Dad, why did you take the money from my savings account? That was for our honeymoon." There was a pause on the line before he answered. "Amy, your brother needed it more than you do. Jason's business was about to go under, and I couldn't let that happen." "My honeymoon money? The money Grandma left me? How could you do that without even asking me?" "You and Daniel are doing fine. Jason needed help. Besides, you can always go on your honeymoon later." "That's not the point. That was my money." "Well, what's done is done. Jason needed it for an investment opportunity that couldn't wait. He'll pay you back eventually." "Eventually? Dad, my wedding is in 3 months." "Amy, you've always been so dramatic. It's just a trip. Family comes first." "I am family. I'm your daughter." "You know what I mean? Jason has always struggled more than you." I hung up, tears of frustration streaming down my face. When I told Daniel, he was furious. "This is theft, Amy," he said. "We should report this." "He's my dad," I replied weakly. "And technically, his name is on the account." Daniel took my hand. "Then we adjust. We'll have a smaller honeymoon or postpone it. This doesn't change anything about us." That's when I thought the worst was over. Little did I know. 2 weeks later, I was scrolling through Instagram when I saw a post that made my blood run cold. It was my brother Jason, tagged at a luxury resort in Santorini, the exact resort Daniel and I had booked for our honeymoon. "Having the time of my life thanks to Dad. Best investment ever," the caption read. I called Jason immediately. "Are you in Greece? At the Santorini Paradise Resort?" "Oh, hey sis. Yeah, isn't it amazing? Dad suggested I take a break before diving into my new business venture. The stress was really getting to me." "Jason, that was my honeymoon package, the one I paid for with Grandma's money." "What? No way. Dad said he was treating me to this trip. With my money, from my account." "Look, Amy, I don't know what arrangement you had with Dad, but he told me this was a gift. Maybe you're confused?" "I'm not confused. You're staying at the resort I booked for my honeymoon with the money Dad took from my account." "That sounds like an issue between you and Dad. I didn't steal anything. Don't ruin my vacation with your drama. I hung up and immediately called my father. Dad, Jason is on my honeymoon, the one I booked and paid for. Amy, lower your voice. Yes, Jason is using the reservation. It seemed wasteful to let it go to waste since you couldn't afford it anymore. I couldn't afford it because you took my money. And now you've given my brother my honeymoon package? Jason needed a break. His mental health has been suffering with all the business stress. The timing worked out. The timing worked out? Dad, you stole from me, then gave what you stole to Jason. Do you even hear yourself? I did not steal from you. That account has my name on it too, and Jason is family. You should be happy to help your brother. I'm getting married in 6 weeks, and you've taken both my honeymoon money and my actual honeymoon. How am I supposed to feel? You've always been so selfish, Amy. Jason has real problems. Your little trip can wait. That night, I cried in Daniel's arms. I don't understand how they can treat me like this and think it's okay. It's not okay, Daniel said firmly, and we're not going to let them get away with it. The next day, Daniel and I consulted with a lawyer, his college friend Marcus. Let me get this straight, Marcus said. Your father withdrew money from a joint account, which was specifically a gift from your grandmother to you. Then he gave that money to your brother, who is now using the honeymoon package you purchased with said money. Exactly, I confirmed. And was your grandmother's gift documented anywhere? A will? A letter? Yes, it was in her will. She left money specifically to me for travel, since she knew how much I wanted to see the world. Marcus nodded thoughtfully. That changes things. If the money was specifically bequeathed to you in a will, your father had no right to take it, joint account or not. It's considered conversion. Essentially, theft. So we can take legal action? Daniel asked. Absolutely. We can file a civil suit for the return of the funds plus damages. And if you want to push it, this could potentially be criminal conversion. I don't want my dad to go to jail, I said quickly. I just want what's mine. Let's start with a demand letter and go from there, Marcus suggested. When my father received the letter from Marcus's law firm, he called me immediately. A lawsuit? Against your own father? This is how you want to handle a family matter? You didn't treat it like a family matter when you stole my honeymoon money and gave it to Jason. I did not steal anything, and Jason needed... I don't care what Jason needed. That was my inheritance from Grandma. It was in her will that the money was for me. You're overreacting. Jason will pay you back when his business takes off. His businesses never take off, Dad. They fail, and you bail him out. Except this time, you bailed him out with my money. Amy, if you go through with this lawsuit, don't expect me at your wedding. Honestly, Dad, at this point I don't want you there anyway. The weeks leading up to the wedding were tense. My father told the entire extended family that I was suing him and Jason out of jealousy. Some relatives took his side, claiming I was tearing the family apart over a vacation. You don't need to defend yourself, Daniel told me. We know the truth. The wedding was beautiful, even without a third of my family present. Daniel's parents stepped up and treated me like the daughter they never had. Amy, we want you to know that we've booked you and Daniel a week at a beach house for your honeymoon, my mother-in-law announced at the rehearsal dinner. It's not Greece, but we hope it will be special. I hugged her tight. That's so generous. Thank you. Our small honeymoon was lovely, but the legal battle was just beginning. 2 months after the wedding, we had our first court date. I'll never forget walking into the courtroom and seeing my father and brother sitting there, looking annoyed as if this was a major inconvenience for them. All rise, the bailiff called as the judge entered. As Marcus presented our case, I watched my father's expression change from annoyance to concern. He hadn't expected us to have Grandma's will, bank statements showing the transfer of funds to Jason's account, and screenshots of Jason's social media posts from my honeymoon destination. When it was my father's turn to speak, he tried to play the family card. Your Honor, this is a family misunderstanding. I've always looked out for both my children. Sometimes tough decisions need to be made for the greater good of the family. And how is taking your daughter's honeymoon money and giving it to her brother for the greater good? The judge asked. Jason's business was about to fail. He needed capital immediately. Amy's trip was a luxury, not a necessity. Did you ask her permission? Well, no, but did you inform her before taking the money? No, but the account has my name on it, too. The judge looked unimpressed. Mr. Collins, being a co-signer on an account doesn't give you ownership of funds that were specifically bequeathed to your daughter in a will. When Jason took the stand, things got even worse. Did you know the money your father gave you was taken from your sister's account? Marcus asked. No, Dad said he was treating me to the trip. And when your sister called you in Greece and told you that you were staying at the resort she had booked for her honeymoon, what did you do? I mean, I was already there. What was I supposed to do? Perhaps offer to leave, apologize, offer to pay her back? It wasn't my fault Dad gave me the trip. Yet you continued to stay there, enjoying the honeymoon package your sister paid for, even after you knew it was hers? Jason shifted uncomfortably. I deserved a break. My business was failing. One more question, Marcus said. How many businesses have you started in the last 5 years? Objection? My father's lawyer called. Relevance? I'll allow it, the judge said. Please answer the question. Jason hesitated. 4, maybe 5. And how many of these businesses have been successful? They all had potential. The market conditions just weren't right. And who funded these businesses? My father invested in them. With his own money? Or with funds from other family members? Jason glared at me. Dad helped me with financing. Let me rephrase. Did your father take money from your sister before to fund your failed ventures? I don't know where Dad gets his money. Your Honor, Marcus addressed the judge. We have bank records showing that Mr. Collins has transferred funds from accounts intended for Amy's college education, car repairs, and now her honeymoon to support Jason's businesses. This is a pattern, not an isolated incident. By the end of the day, the judge had heard enough. The court finds in favor of the plaintiff, he announced. Mr. Robert Collins and Mr. Jason Collins are jointly responsible for repaying the full amount taken from Miss Amy Mitchell's account, plus the cost of the honeymoon package and additional damages for emotional distress, totaling $28,500. My father's face turned red with anger. This is ridiculous! She's my daughter! I was trying to help my son! Mr. Collins, the judge said sternly, being a parent doesn't give you the right to take what isn't yours, even if your intentions were to help another child. I suggest you reflect on the damage you've done to your relationship with your daughter. As we left the courthouse, my father approached me. Amy, this isn't over. You've humiliated our family in public. No, Dad. You and Jason humiliated yourselves. I just made sure there were consequences. I was always there for you. I raised you after your mother died. You were physically there, but you never supported me like you supported Jason. Every accomplishment of mine was expected, while his failures were somehow achievements in trying. He needs more help than you do. No, he needs to face reality, and so do you. You've enabled him for years, and now you've crossed a line. I'm done. So that's it? You're choosing money over family? No, I'm choosing respect and boundaries. Something you never taught me, but I learned anyway. 3 months later, I received notice that my father was selling his house. Jason's latest business had failed spectacularly, leaving my father to cover significant debts. The money he'd been ordered to pay me had depleted his savings. Jason had to move back in with Dad in his new, much smaller apartment. Without Dad's financial safety net, Jason finally had to get a regular job. Do you feel bad about what happened? Megan asked as I finished recounting the story. Honestly, no. For the first time in my life, there were actual consequences for how they treated me. Daniel's parents have been more supportive in 1 year than my dad has been my entire life. Have they tried to contact you since? Jason sent a text saying he'd pay me back when he gets on his feet. I didn't respond. Dad sends occasional guilt trip messages about how I've destroyed the family. Will you ever reconcile with them? I took a long sip of my coffee. Not unless they truly understand what they did wrong. Not just taking the money, but the years of favoritism and dismissing my feelings. A real apology would need to come with real change, and I don't think either of them is capable of that. As Megan and I parted ways, I felt lighter than I had in years. Standing up for myself had cost me my relationship with my father and brother, but it had given me something more valuable: self-respect. Daniel was waiting for me at home with exciting news. Guess what? I got a bonus at work and I've been saving. We can finally take that trip to Greece you've always dreamed of. I wrapped my arms around him. You know what? I think I'd rather create new dreams with you. Somewhere that doesn't have any connection to my family drama. Anywhere you want to go, I'm there, he promised. Later that night, as I was going through old photos, I found a picture of my grandmother. She always told me, don't let anyone walk all over you, not even family, especially not family. I wish she could have seen me stand up for myself in that courtroom. I think she would have been proud. So here's my question for you. Have you ever had to stand up to family members who always favored someone else over you? What did you do? And did it change the dynamic forever? Let me know in the comments below.